Okay, I am President Brent Spiner's press secretary and vice president. And I will be reading a letter from my husband, President Brent Spiner. Okay, Dearest Gail, the United States is currently on the path to a slow recovery following the war on COVID promoters. Per your brilliant idea, the team and I have undertaken the daunting task of creating human-like automatons to replace the 72 million innocent people who lost their lives in the bombings of CDC buildings and hospitals throughout the country. It appears our reparations for the war are being well received by our citizens. Here's an article from the Gabriel Chana Fox News website with the details. August 22nd, 2022. Lifelike automatons restore wholeness to grieving families following devastating war on COVID promoters. On Saturday, August 13th, 2022, former President Gail received a notice on her apartment door regarding updates to the CDC guidelines for COVID-19. In this notice, residents of the apartment complex were reminded of the mask policy and asked to notify the office if they become ill. In the event of COVID infection, residents were asked to self-quarantine and offered grocery delivery and trash pickup on behalf of the management. President Gail became so panicked by the notice, she issued a formal declaration of war on all COVID promoters. President Gail's loyal military carried out mass bombings of CDC buildings and hospitals across the country in an effort to destroy all organizations administering COVID shots and promoting the existence of COVID. The military action was swift and brutal, killing 72 million people and severely depleting the country of critically important medical staff and vital resources. Former President Gail has since been hailed as the most bloodthirsty president of all time. In the spirit of the shoot first, ask questions later policy that has followed former President Gail throughout her presidency, new information soon surfaced regarding the origins of the COVID flyers that caused President Gail to freak out. According to intelligence sources, the staff at Gail's apartment complex were manipulated into distributing the flyers by Jesuit pranksters who offered the staff pot brownies laced with brain control drugs. Their motive was to scare Gail into fearing more intrusive COVID regulations and to make her paranoid about being potentially forced to receive the shot against her will. This brilliant tactic was so effective, it led to the deaths of millions and the virtual obliteration of the United States' entire medical industry on behalf of Gail's massive military regime. In an effort to make things right in light of her mistake, President Gail resigned from her position as president, reassigning the role to her husband, Brent Spiner. Former President Gail has now taken the lesser role of vice president. Amidst the smoldering rubble of former hospitals and clinics throughout the U.S., families weep for their dead loved ones who died in this massive tragedy. Many citizens are seen throwing flowers into the wreckage in honor of their fallen spouses, siblings, children, and parents, most of whom remain entombed in the rubble in mass graves. One minute he was snapping on a latex glove to give a pap smear, the next he was being blown to pieces. It's hard to imagine, laments one woman of her late spouse, a doctor killed in the bombings. I can't believe President Gail bombed the Children's Cancer Hospital, sobbed one mother. Ever merciful, former President Gail consulted with her $5 per month patrons on Friday Night Hangout for ideas on how to best pay back reparations to the victims' families. The spouses of the dead have been offered free subscriptions to the dating sites of their choice in order to find a new spouse. In addition, they will receive complimentary subscriptions to the porn of their liking and free access to escort services for companionship. In addition to these services, families are now being offered the option to replace their dead loved ones via a revolutionary new technology. Using advanced Church of Gail technology, dead loved ones can now be virtually resurrected in the form of artificially intelligent robots. These robots, referred to as automatons, are identical to the former person and are programmed with all the memories that person had prior to their death. These simulated replacements have been mercifully offered by Vice President Gail free of charge. While the new technology was at first intimidating and confusing to many, the option is now taking off with overwhelming popularity. "I was considering just finding a new doctor husband," said Angela of New York, as I sat there perusing the pornographic magazines and escort services delivered to my door by the government. My eyes fell on the pamphlet about automatons. Angela says after reading the informational pamphlet, the decision to order a free automaton of her husband became an easy choice. According to the pamphlet, the automaton had limitless customization options. When I saw that, I was sold. According to Angela, the customizations she could make to the robot copy of her spouse have made her happier with the replacement than she ever was with her original sentient husband. "My new husband has, well, a much bigger penis and does all the household chores at lightning speed," remarks Angela of the new artificial copy of her spouse. "He also came with automatic upgrades to his medical abilities, making him much more efficient at his job as a doctor. His eyes are now medical scanners, and he can turn his hands into scalpels. I can't tell you how turned on I was when he was able to do a complete vaginal exam with only his eyes, and then cut my panties off with his scalpel hands." These automatons, in addition to mending the broken hearts of grieving families, offer additional support to a country that has lost all of its medical industry to a brutal war. With upgraded abilities like scanning technology, heightened intelligence, increased surgical prowess, and the ability to transform their various body parts into medical tools, these automatons are not only replacing but greatly enhancing the vital roles once played by their dead human counterparts. The United States, both her medical industry and her people, is now recovering at an unprecedented pace, thanks to the brilliant teamwork of President Brent Spiner and Vice President Gail Schuler. Approval ratings for the new leadership are at 100%, and the future of the country appears bright. There you have it. Our new decisions have made a strong and healing impact on the country thus far. I'm excited to see how things progress going forward. I adore you, my dear. Forever and always, your husband, Brent Spiner.